There's been a very popular saying online in the men's community when guys are trying to understand women and relationships and love. And the saying is, you can either understand women or you can love them, but you cannot do both. And when you look around at women today, this saying is generally right. But it is not practically correct, and let me explain why. Fun fact, it wasn't the guys online who came up with the saying. It originated in the late 1800s from the writer Oscar Wilde, who said, "Women are meant to be loved, not understood." And at that time, there was very, very little individuality. Think about that time. You could literally close your eyes and pick any woman solely based on beauty on the street because her virtue was taken care of by the way she ought to act in society, and a man's virtue was taken care of by the way a man ought to act in society. So you could just pick on looks. One pretty, polite woman on the street was a safe bet, just as a polite, well-dressed gentleman was on the street for a woman. You had the church, society, work, your parents, your friends, everybody was on the same page of what the rules were to be a good husband, partner, man, and similarly for a woman as well. It made things a lot easier. I think there was a lot less anxiety than we have today where we start from zero and we're afraid to even open our mouths. There's something to be said for the comfort of being able to start a relationship where both of you are playing by fair, socially agreed upon rules. You know, growing up dating as a man, all I used to hear after failed relationship was,
"Don't give up, man. She's out there."
but it just becomes too hard after a while. You feel like a fool, as though you're trying to flip a coin and get it to land on its edge. So I can see why Oscar Wilde's saying was repurposed for a modern time and became an either-or proposition. It's because women are so hard to be with that it makes sense on the surface as a statement that you either use your brain and common sense and keep women at a distance, or you say screw it and you jump out of a plane without a parachute and you have a romantic relationship with one of these car wrecks. But the statement, you can either understand a woman or you can love them, but you cannot do both, it's lexically misleading. It's joining two separate ideas into one phrase. And it doesn't make sense because you can't apply these ideas on the same plane. I'll explain. You can either understand women or you can love them, but you cannot do both. The statement is true insofar as you can understand them. You can generally understand women as a concept, what most women are generally like, how they react, how they see things, how they generally respond to things, in the same way men generally see things, respond to things, a man's general predilections compared to a woman's. Look at what movies a man likes compared to what a woman likes. Look at a woman's pastimes compared to a man's pastimes. So we can understand women generally, like we are watching a documentary about the male and female of the species. So it's almost like the first part of the saying sucks you in. You can get a gist of the whole. You can get a gist of the group. But where I think the statement falls short is you cannot love them. You cannot love women at all. You can only love a woman. So the second half of the statement can't be applied. You cannot love them. It's impossible. You can understand them, but you can't love them. And you might think I'm picking on wording here, but I think the blind spot of much of men's relationship self-help online today leads them astray because it convinces men that if they can just study women enough, the group from a distance, really study and get women, really get them. So if they can study the species well and understand them, then they should just be able to pick any female from the herd out there with their expert, knowledgeable hand, because they've been taking notes on the species. In my opinion, this statement is missing the trees for the forest, because when we talk about a relationship, men want a tree, not the forests we're all obsessed with discussing. The phrase would be more accurately stated as you can understand women, or you can understand and love a woman. Maybe. Paying particular attention to the difference between women and woman. Again, a basic understanding of women in general is really helpful before I actually meet the individual I'm going on a date with. But once I've actually chosen to go on a date with a particular female, I have to now understand her, the woman Jane that I've chosen to go on a date with. You see, understanding mattered before I went on the date, but now I'm on a date. Jane is all that matters. Put another way, I spent my time understanding women to better prepare myself to maybe meet my Jane. Do we see the difference? Before, it was all about the generalized woman, the species, because there was a big question mark, because there wasn't a person in front of me. But now that there's a person in front of me who happens to be a female, that's the only thing I can try to love. So the statement is a bit too glib and simple, because you really can't love them. You can only love her, maybe. We've convinced ourselves that men and women are the same, and on a species level, we are. But we don't have relationships on that level. And when you look at all the dysfunction, the stress, incompatibility, most people do simply try to have relationships on the impersonal, biological level that all men and women are the same. But we shouldn't, and we know we shouldn't. And under the core, I think this is why we're trying to find answers. And I think the laziest deterministic answers are that we are all just animals and that's all we are. People, it's sad. We are relating as avatars to each other, as avatar men, avatar women. Whatever happened to Dr. Martin Luther King's sentiment that we should be more than the color of our skin and be focused on our character? Everyone's being very clever, boiling us all down to just the surface of our skin. I say this because I think it's very important to know how we think and describe things, how we categorize things in our heads, what story we tell ourselves of how we're relating to other people. And if we're telling ourselves that I'm every man and she's every woman and man must be with woman, it's a very dumb caveman-like way to think. We're holding iPhones, yet we believe that we're nothing more than animals. Fine, stop complaining about the civilized, advanced, beautiful things you can't get. Anyway, do you know what I mean? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. I think it's very important for us to think better and choose better and clearer and make sure the things we believe, like these sayings, are applicable. If they're not applicable, if we have rules, if we have convictions and morals, but we can't apply them, gentlemen, they're fantasies. You'll waste your time believing in something that cannot be applied. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. I'll catch you in the next video, guys. See ya.